and vote them out. People are balling on the street. They can't buy no food to eat. Ralph, we don't fed up with all your tricks. Come this election, you're getting licked. To end corruption, victimization, nepotism, bad representation, for accountability, a better economy. We voting for the key. We voting NDP. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We got in with the ULP. We got in with the ULP. Labour don't love nobody. They only reckon we country. Oh God, we come and vote them out. 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 We come and vote them out.
East Kingstown, good evening. It is so good to be here with your Member of Parliament, the Honorable Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble. This evening we have come to give you the good news that this year St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be getting a new government, a government led by Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday, and together with your Member of Parliament, the very day that the NDP forms government, you will be seeing change and betterment in the constituency of East Kingstown. Friends, we're going to get right into it, so I'm going to call the Vice President of the Women's Arm, Delisha, to come and say the opening prayer.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we boldly approach your throne, Lord, I pray that you would bless us here tonight. Lord, I pray that everything would be done in decency and in order. Lord, I pray that you would continue to bless us as a nation. And in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Now, DJ, let me get something. Let me get something there.
1, 2.
Vincentian, wake up! Oh good! After 19 years in power, look at the condition of St. Vincent and the Grenadines economy. It's time for we to get rid of these ULP. Go out election time and vote for the LDP. Look at the state of SPG under the ULP. Oh gosh, I'm so ashamed, it make me angry when I see so many people living in poverty. It's time enough we get rid of ULP to end corruption, victimization, nepotism, bad representation, for accountability, a better economy. We voting for the key. We voting NDP. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We getting rid of the ULP. We getting rid of the ULP. Them one lies don't love nobody. They only eating them we country. Oh gosh, we come and vote them out. 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 We gonna vote them out. We come and 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 vote them out. People are balling on the street. They can't buy no food to eat. Ralph, we don't fed up with all your tricks. Come this election, you're getting licked. To end corruption, victimization, nepotism, bad representation, for accountability.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Voting for the key. We voting NDP. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We getting rid of the ULP. we get rid of this dictator. To end corruption, victimization, nepotism, bad representation, for accountability, a better economy. We voting for the key. We voting NDP. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We voting Bramble. We getting rid of ULP. We getting rid of this ULP. Vincentian, wake up. Oh, good. After 19 years in power, look at the condition of St. Vincent and the Grenadines economy. It's time for we to get rid of these ULP. Go out election time and vote for the NDP. Look at the state of SPG under the ULP. Oh gosh, I'm so ashamed.
Going one time straight into the topics. I know that you come out here this afternoon and you come out this evening to hear from the candidates of the New Democratic Party, the government that will be forming very soon, because I want to tell you something. On the other side, they have a guy over there who wants to keep running and he their footsteps away from being in a hospice. That man is about 2 months or so away from being in a home to take care of the elderly, but he wants to run our country. I tell you something, I don't know if Judy have get rid of them over there. You could drop it for me. In the meantime, we are going to call the man who they can't figure out who they want to run, because in election out. They keep changing the candidate there, so. And I tell them something. You see how this man transformed Water Authority? I can't wait to see what he does with healthcare sector, because it's the people in this country, who afraid to go by our hospital. And I tell them, don't matter who they bring, the waterman can flood them out over there. So ladies and gentlemen, please join in bringing to the platform our chairman, the member of parliament for West KINGSTOWN, the Honorable
years they boast and brag, but all they give me was big in a bag. What they can do and how they are the best. Mash up we country, now have we in a mess.
Good night. Good night. Murray Village, East Kingston, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, good evening. You know, we're in the month of March in this election year, and the New Democratic Party is well and truly in charge. Next representative for East St. George, who has the heir apparent going nuts, my dear friend. And the next representative for East St. George, the one and only Lavon Gibson Velox. We have tonight in our audience the representative of the Southern Grenadines. Let's welcome Terence Oliver. And we know how he's under the strain from Beryl in his own homeland. All the way from North Leeward, your next representative, Dr. Kishore Shadow, is here with us. And of course, the party is well blessed with a GenSec, with a PRO, and of course, the other members of the steering team. Welcome them all, and to all you wonderful people here in East Kingstown. It's good to be back. You know, I'm not far from home, and it's always nice to spread the message of hope, the message of what the New Democratic Party has in store for all of the people of this country. Tonight, I thank Fitz for allowing me to be on this platform, even though, as you may recognize, not quite right, still fighting the cold. But it's an honor for me to be here, and I wouldn't miss this for anything in the world. The PRO told you about what would happen in healthcare. Tonight, I'm not going to deal with healthcare because I have seen too many persons die because they take them to Milton Cato Memorial Hospital and they die in circumstances where that should not happen. I'm not going there. Those of you who came to this spot, whether you came through Sharps, whether you came up Murray Village, or whether you came Rocky's Way, the roads in this part of the country are simply abominable. My friends, every day I have to use that Murray Village Road. Every day I have to use the Sharps Road and the Kingston Park Road. And you know that they have done severe damage to my back in Parliament. You know that. These roads are not designed for the vehicles we have. Not only do they shake the hell out of the vehicles, our whole bodies are put under significant stress. The reality is our human body is not built to take the kind of bumps that you get from these so-called roads. I want to tell you, the people of Rockies, I want to tell you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, any government that can't get something as basic as fixing the roads doesn't deserve to be in government. If you cannot do something as mundane, as routine, as simplistic as fixing the roads, after promising election after election, they can fix the road. Remember, they bragged and boasted that when Argyle is finished, we will see road building like we've never seen before. They were accurate. Never in the history of this country have we seen such a neglect of the roads. And it's not just in Kingstown. It's wherever you go. Wherever you go. I want to tell you that an NDP administration will look at this thing called infrastructure. Whether it be roads, whether it be ports, whether it be buildings. This government loves to have nice shiny objects. They don't pay enough attention to the design of these buildings. They don't pay enough attention to the awarding of contracts when they're spending our money. And we've seen the Caribbean Development Bank have to withdraw money because this government did not follow the tendering rules. But I want to tell you, an NDP administration will focus heavily on infrastructure, will make sure that projects are properly designed, that when contracts are awarded, there will be adequate supervision so that the structures have to be built according to the specifications. I want to tell St. Vincent and the Grenadines, an NDP government will not create the kind of nightmare scenario that we have at the Kingston Port project. Imagine on that project, you spending hundreds of millions of dollars and you simply excavating sand from in front of the project and you pull out all the sand from the areas that you put to build the port on. You will hear more from the New Democratic Party on that vexing matter. Tonight I want to test simply that what has happened at Port Kingston is reflective of the way these these rogues in government are spending our money. That is reflective of the reckless way they're taking money, borrowing money all over the world and not paying attention to the critical details. I want you not to forget, even in the hospital being built at Harnessville, they didn't want the scrutiny of the World Bank. They didn't want to follow the requirements to make sure that the people of this country get value for money. So they went to another source where they can forget so many of the critical requirements for building a proper hospital. I warned you before. I want you to keep your fingers on the pulse and understand what is happening at Harnessville is running around a number of problems. And just like happened on the port, we could have problems at Harnessville with flooding at that site. But they don't care because they know they will be long gone. But tonight, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, mark my word, those who are responsible for the squander of hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars will pay the price. They will pay the price because they have been warned, because they have all the advice from the people who know. The technical experts tell them what they should do at Harnessville. The port project, they have it. I want you all to remember this, In Parliament, I asked these rogues to let me have all of the technical information with respect to the port. Up to today, they haven't sent a thing to me. As a representative of the people in West Kingstown, I am not allowed to see the design of the port project. As an engineer in this country, I am not allowed to see the design of the port project. I want St. Vincent and the Grenadines to ask yourself, why is it that the ULP is hiding critical information about this project and don't want me and Major and others to see what is in this project? But I tell you this, it won't be long when the bully gabas. Mark what I tell you, it won't be long. Tonight I don't intend to be long. I don't have the ability to go on as long as I would like to. But I want to say to Fitz and to East Kingstown, these meetings are not just about re-electing Fitz as your representative. These meetings are about making Fitz a minister of government in the cabinet of Dr. Friday. And just as in Trinidad, we have a new prime minister, this one exchange. It won't be long. It won't be long before St. Vincent and the Grenadines has a real government with people with a commitment to service. And that will be the administration led by Dr. Godwin Friday. So my friend Fitz, thanks for inviting me to this meeting. And I am told that the weather will hold throughout your meeting tonight. I am told. Don't blame me if it doesn't. Thank you for having me, and good night, folks. God bless.
Vincentian, wake up! Ooh, after 19 years in power, look at the condition of St. Vincent and the Grenadines economy. It's time for we to get rid of these ULP. Go out election time and vote for the LDP. Look at the state of SPG under the ULP. Oh gosh, I'm so ashamed, it make me angry when I see so many people living in poverty. It's time enough we get rid of ULP to end corruption, victimization.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, the opening batsman tonight. I want to tell all you something. He say he don't why, but I'm going to let all in on the secret. This ULP government is a government that is involved in construction corruption. And that is why they cannot give us access to get the information that Mr. Cummings is talking about. I'm going to tell all of this. Ask yourself why the same closely connected people to the ULP getting richer and richer, but the ordinary man in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, life getting harder and harder, and we catching hell out there. Because I tell you something about ULP, so they lie and oh God, so they thief. So they lie and oh God, so they thief. I'm going to tell you something. You see the next person I'm going to bring to you. This is a roots man. This is a man when he come up here, is not one of we, the politician telling you, but ordinary people from right here in East Kingston telling you how things are going in their constituency. So join me at this time and welcome to the stage the man that we call Father. Please welcome him as he comes.
Haile, give thanks. Give thanks and praises. Greetings to everyone, brothers and sisters, you know. Right now, I man really come to really reason a bit about how they had the agriculture now. Some say them come on, you know. So it's just fire on all the bad management and killing agriculture in St. Vincent. Hat it up, you know. So we're going on right now. When we have guns having them take power, they take power with a vengeance to destroy anything that a poor man or the working man making a living from. Fire. Everything that the poor man or the working man makes a living from, they destroy it. Including agriculture. In Bilal, they only put the jail there and the garbage bin or the garbage place just to get rid of the farmers. You think the Kiba airport, they only put the airport there to get rid of the farmers. You think the Kiba King Grove and hotel, they put the hotel there to get rid of the farmers. Because the farming is the backbone of St. Vincent. So man burning a fire right now upon all of them who put themselves together to destroy agriculture, which is the backbone of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I could remember. Man used to remember it had some boat we used to call the ram goat boat. We carry the traffic because every Saturday, hundreds of goat moving from St. Vincent. Sacks and sacks of potato. Sacks and sacks of everything you could talk about, plantain, everything. Moving out of St. Vincent. When they come on to destroy, we call it marketing corporation. Marketing board we call it. Because that's getting rid of the living that the working man do. You think they want to clean up KINGSTOWN? You see them moving the vendors and clean up? No, they want to get rid of a man who making a living. So you could depend on them. Because that's the ways of the master now. Because he come from the family of Massa. He come from the family of Massa, which is Gonzales. Some of the first slave drivers that bring slaves to the USA. The same people who run the Garfuna people out of St. Vincent is the same people who is the leader now of St. Vincent. Fire! What a great mistake, what a mistake we people make to put Master Son in power. The same people who run the Garfuna, and now we see them get honor from the same Garfuna people. But that rat is we're going to beat him. That rat and that staff is we're going to beat him. Because we have to know if we walk the thing, you know. We have to walk it against him. Because that's what the game is for do. Because them don't know he's the enemy of the people. But the game a rat, that's to beat him. So when you see when I'm going to vote, I must vote for NDP. Because NDP will continue what we left off and add more to it, like agriculture and thing. Develop agriculture, develop culture. You see, for the people, help the people to make a living. You know? So I man give thanks and praise. You know, I just cut in a shot now, just burn a little fire upon the mash down agriculture. Give thanks and praises
All right, fire. Thank you so much. DJ, give me something now.
Nepotism, bad representation for accountability, a better economy. We voting for the key. We voting NDP. We voting.
This evening, I'm going to bring to you a man from Central Kingston. And the truth about it is, this is a Kingstown's meeting, they tell me. But don't get tricked. Kingston have more than one person to come and talk. So you might think it's Major I was talking about. But he coming later on. I'm going to show you how we have versatility, style, and plenty people for talk over here. So help me, and we ain't doing too much talking in between because we want to get on with the program, right? So at this time, please help me in welcoming the chairman for Central Kingston. He's no stranger to you. The man who just jump up and down like a ninja up on the stage. Please welcome Igel Adams.
Yeah, a natural mystic, man, blowing the change, the winds of change are blowing. And it's coming very, very, very fast. But you know now it's March. And I ain't get hot yet, and I ain't gonna get hot tonight either. Because the big man like afraid to call the thing. Because he know anytime the bell ring, it's fire under his skin. So he afraid that kind of heat. So he wouldn't call it. But let me say a pleasant good night to our vice president, one of our vice presidents, Major Sinclair Leacock. MP Bramble, you MP in this part of the constituency. MP Olivier from the Southern Grenadines. Brother Kishore Shallow, next representative for North Leeward. Sister Lavon Villox, the next representative for East St. George, the one who's going to get rid of the Crown Prince and put him where he belongs. And to all the people of Murray Village, to our General Secretary who was here a while ago, our Public Relations Officer, and all the people, a pleasant good night. Good night. What I want to say to you tonight, in East Kingston, you have one job to do, really and truly. And your job is just to go to the polls, look for the key, put your X there, and re-elect Brother Fitz Bramble, because he will be the one who will continue to represent you. But this time, he will represent you in government so that he will be able to bring to pass all the promises that you have made to East Kingston to improve the lives of the people of East Kingston and by extension, the lives of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But let me remind you of a few things. One, it's never good to be jealous of your predecessor, because jealousy have a way of destroying a lot of things. So Mitchell and Arnhem and the NDP built the cruise ship boat. And they built the port at Camden Park. Solid infrastructure project that is still lasting 30-something years after they were built, and they never had a problem with one the pile that they put down. But Master's son want to build everything bigger than what he meet, because he's too concerned about his ego. And because election is around, he wanted the project to finish in February. That's when they wanted it to finish. But it couldn't be finished in February. They put the date now to May. And now they're discovering a big problem. That is what you get when you are jealous and envious of those who went before you. You will do things, but you wouldn't do them properly, and you will cause the country to suffer. So he wants to build the biggest port. But I'm frightened right now, because the problem has been discovered. I am scared about the remedial work that is supposed to be done to remedy that project. I believe with all my heart, I hope it ain't happen, but I believe NDP have a big problem to fix when they get there with the ports. They try to hurry it down, but we will have to do it good and make it work for the benefit of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We will have to fix it and make it work. You're building a port, but you have nothing to export on the port. What kind of stupidness is that? All you're going to do is import, and then our import bill is so much over our export bill. Thank God there's people like Dr. Friday, Major Cummins Olivier, Fitz, Kishore Shallow, Lavon Velox, and others who will be in the team that will be able to bring back agriculture to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, bring back productivity in the country so that we will be able to have things to move out on the port so that monies can come back into St. Vincent and come back into the hands of the people. I am saying to us tonight, because I wouldn't be long, just like how the others were short, I'm going to be short. We need a government in office that will work for and on behalf of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that government will be the NDP government who you will put into office after the next general election. So, anytime the bell is rung and the date is called and the date come, wherever you are, whichever constituency you are in, look for the key and vote solidly for the NDP and rescue St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you. Good night and God bless you. Yes, you're welcome.
Brother Igal Adams. Boy, they say, imagine we done so hot and the thing not started. I see on Facebook the other day, somebody on top of a roof and they're ponging in a yellow flag on top of there, and I tell them, you see, as soon as the bell ring, we coming in East Kingston and I'm passing up. First, you go give me permission. I want to pass out flag on every house up in here, because we have to tell them, that up in here is NDP City, and let them know that once we start to call election results, we know that we have the Kingstowns locked, and we start in the first Kingstown we announcing is East Kingstown. You know why? Because East Kingston has been the seat on the mainland that continues to remain the Rock of Gibraltar for the New Democratic Party. I agree with you. Let me tell the audience, let me tell the listening people on Facebook, what you say, we fed up of the gun violence and we don't want no gun up in here. And I agree with you, because this place deserves to be a place where you can grow your children and where you can feel safe in your homes. So at this time, of all the people I get to introduce this evening, this one gives me the greatest honor. Because as a kid, I remember the first time I went on a platform. I was probably 12 years old. And this man has been an example of what true advocacy should be. We know that in opposition, we don't have a constituency development fund. And the only way that we can get things done is by advocating for the needs of our constituents. And so when I saw Terence Oliver over and over saying to them, we need a school in Kianawan. We need a school in Kianawan. Oh God, give the people a school in Kianawan. And the day did come because of his advocacy that we did get it. And I know again, he keep on saying to them, oh God, we want a jetty. And as it gives me joy introduce to you my member of parliament who will return the seat for us in the Southern Grenadines, the Honorable Terence Oliver.
Buffalo soldier, dreadlock rasta.
Yeah, DJ. Thank you very much.
In the heart of a
Yeah. And that song was so appropriate. Because I want you, not only in East Kingston, but throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines to know that we are soldiering on in the Southern Grenadines. I come from we call it the heartbeat of the new Democratic Party, the people of the Southern Grenadines, and I bring you greetings from them. And I want to say to you, the people of East Kingston, that this is your time to elect the government that you want, the government that will take St. Vincent and the Grenadines forward. We have a good team. When you look at the NDP team, it's a team of experience and youth. We have people who have been out there toiling in the wilderness. And they have learned, they have worked throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines in places where they have gained experience. And we now also have young people on board who will bring the energy with the experience to take St. Vincent and the Grenadines forward and to make this country a better place. So we have our president, Dr. Godwin Friday. We have our vice president who's here tonight, Major Leacock. We have Israel Bruce, senator, who's here. We have Velox. You know, sometimes I say, going through Calico and those areas, it is said that she lost. But the people said something different. And we know this time that she's going to bring it home for us. We also have from North Leeward, Mr. Shallow is here. And we also have Mr. Smith, who is also here tonight. I wish to tell you that after 8 months of burial in the Southern Grenadines, we have suffered so much. And you would have thought that so many people who are on the mainland, who are displaced, that they would have been home by now because the houses and the homes would have been fixed. And because they are not fixed, the people are still suffering here and there and everywhere. And if it wasn't for a private investor doing what they can to improve the lives of the people in the Southern Grenadines, we would have been in a worse condition than ever. Where is the government who, after we supported a bill in Parliament for $136 million, where the money gone? And why was this funds not used as much as possible to help the people of the Southern Grenadines? Not only the Southern Grenadines, but to help the people on the mainland who had suffered from such a terrible disaster. And I want to say to you again, this is your time to remove the ULP from government and put a team of people who are there who are concerned about you. I want to tell you about Fitz. I never knew him before. I knew him as a goalkeeper when I was teaching in school. But when he became first the candidate for this constituency, he took off running. And up to this day, he has never stopped. This is the man for you in East Kingston. Because from the time he came on board, he has been walking with you, the people of East Kingston, and he has never stopped. You don't want a better representative than Fitzgerald Bramble. he is the man for you. He will do the job. And if he's doing so much in opposition, imagine what he's going to do for you when he gets into government. This is the man for you. The people of East Kingston, this is your representative. And you cannot get anybody better than him, because he has proven himself to you that he's more than capable of doing the job and making sure that East Kingston is in the right place when it comes to development. When you go, we have a website, and I don't know how much you know about it as yet. But if you go on that website, you will see all our candidates. You will see the experience. You will see the youths. And you will see the programs that the New Democratic Party have for you. I want to make a plea to the youths tonight, wherever you are, and to you, the parents. When you look at what is happening in education, when you look at what is happening, I remember after Beryl passed, one minister was saying, there's lots of jobs, but you don't have the people with the skills to do it. Why? Because they haven't implemented within our secondary education where you can leave schools with the skills that are needed to gain employment in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we in the New Democratic Party, we are saying to you, this is one area in which the New Democratic Party is going to shine. We are going to take care of our young people and make sure they have the knowledge, the skills, and the aptitude to find employment. You know, in this country, they said youth unemployment, I think, is at 42%. So you could imagine. And the data also stated that when they come out of secondary schools, those who graduate from secondary school, it is even higher than the 42%. So that is saying to you that we don't have the skills that are needed in order to take this country to a next level. And we must make sure that they get that. When you look at countries like Barbados and Grenada and St. Lucia, all of them have moved ahead. But what are we doing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to make sure that our young people have that footing in order to create that opportunity not only for themselves, but for the community and also the country in which they live? And I want to say to you, the people of St. Vincent, the people of East Kingston, I'm going to repeat it again. This is your time. Please make use of the opportunity to elect the men and women who will do the right thing on your behalf. Who they have already made numerous sacrifices, and they will continue to work for you to make sure that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is on the right footing. I want to say something to you before I go. When you look at what is happening in the Grenadines, you ask yourself, where is the caring government? What have they been doing to make sure that the people's lives are better? Where are they? You have so many people come from all over the world. The French, the private investors, and everybody doing so much, because if it wasn't for them, would have been in a pile of. Because this government didn't care much about us. And I'm saying to you, if they don't care about people down there and they only go in and try to hoodwink, and there's another topic we have to deal with. They're talking about where you could register here, there, and whatever. And I'm telling you, it's not only in the Grenadines it is happening. It is happening also on the mainland. Because I meet a couple of people today who they denied them being registered for all kind of reasons. And I'm saying to you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, stand up and be counted and elect the New Democratic Party into government so that we will have a better country. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Oli.
I can stand this no longer. The wicked get stronger. I can stand.
Well, I want to tell you something. Terrence asks a question here tonight. That if it is that the people in them homes, and I want you to listen to me, you know. I want you to listen to this good. Where the material going, if it ain't going to the people in the Southern Grenadines, and those of you who live up here, I want to draw your attention to the fact that when you walk down from here, Murray's village, and you're walking down the road, you just see a headquarters in red over there. And you know they're building up an extraction on this side. And if the material ain't going to we down in the Southern Grenadines, suddenly the headquarters for them people they pitching up material reach. So when I tell you, them ain't taking the barrel material and using it on the headquarters. Alright then. The people in the audience gave the answer. But I want you to ask yourself, whenever they keep on telling we that things good, but them they up there alone feeling it, and it ain't trickling down to we, it mean it's only good for them. So listen to this. This election is not about voting out ULP to give NDP a chance. This election is about voting out the ULP so that the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines could get a chance to get a little bit of the honey. Because, oh God, so ULP lie and so they thief. So ULP lie and so they thief. So ULP lie and so they thief. Every time you walk down there, just notice how fast. Couple months ago, you know, it didn't shoot it up that fast. Now suddenly, all you just walk down there, not true. All you notice it too, not true. I think me alone. Me alone. Ladies and gentlemen, the next person I'm going to bring to you. I hear Igal make one mistake in his speech tonight. I hear he say something about a crown prince. But I want to tell them, he had no safe seat for them this election. Because you see this woman here? This woman is going to ensure that she bring an end and send that cold Milo into retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Lavon Gibson Velox.
Thank you, Madam Piaro, Vice President of the New Democratic Party, Major Sinclair Leacock, and everybody else from the executive and candidates that are here tonight, parliamentarians. The East has come to the East. East St. George has come to East Kingstown. And I came to tell y'all that we are on the move. We are on a charge because we are going forth to win this election for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to have better lives, to have better representation. What we are settling for now is nothing compared to what the New Democratic Party can do for you. Now, I heard the man I'm running against in East St. George saying that their party are the creators of employment in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So how come we have over 40% youth unemployment? Where that come from? Somebody lying? The figures don't lie. They don't lie at all. We, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, are going to do something about it because our young people need to be employed. We need jobs. Now they have a program called Prime where they give people up to $40,000. I think they're still taking names. Where has that money gone to? What did the young people do with it? How did they spend it? What is there to show for it? Because it was supposed to help them to start businesses and to develop this country and to decrease the unemployment problem. But we are not getting any better. The New Democratic Party is offering us the Youth Guarantee Pledge, which says that at the end of our first term in office, the youth of this country would have an opportunity to be in apprenticeships, or they would have jobs, or they would be able to learn a skill. And when we talk about skills, how come our country is importing people to work on our projects? We used to supply other Caribbean countries with skilled workers because we were top level. Now we are bringing in people who demoted us, who made us think that we're not good enough. Why aren't we dealing, and I would develop on something Honorable Terrence said, in that when everybody with this education revolution, they failed us because everybody is not academically inclined. So they were supposed to deal with the technical and vocational studies so that people can learn skills. 25 years in office, by now we would have had enough skilled workers to work on all the projects in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and also to send down to the Grenadines so that the houses down there could be rebuilt in quick time. But how are we going to rebuild the houses if the material disappearing? Laverne King say it going so, but I gonna have to take a look at that. Now, the new Democratic Party is a government of ideas. And we have a team of men and women, competent men and women, who can take this country forward to the next level. When we think about the financial complex, we think about the cruise ship berth, we think about the A-level college, we think about the Otley Hall project, we think of all these projects that were done, and we were visionaries, and we will continue to be visionaries for the development of this country. Those other people on Saturday had I don't know what to call it in East St. George. They could not even fill a little school hall. They couldn't fill a little school hall. If I was them, all like now, so I shame. They brought in a set of people, not even people from East St. George. So that tells you a story. It tells you that the people of East St. George are joining the people of East Kingstown in winning for the new Democratic Party to take governance in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are not playing. We're not playing in East St. George. They're doing too much wickedness. Too many things are going bad in East St. George. Look, they just planning approved rainforest to build an outlet on their compound to have a retail business. So they're going to be selling to us. Is that part of the agreement? After 100% duty-free and 30 years tax holiday. What more do they deserve? They are going in direct competition with our local fishermen. This can't happen. We need to do something about it. East Kingstown, your candidate, Fitz Bramble, is a hard worker. He is the one who goes into Parliament and asks all the hard questions so that you can have a better life, so that the people could understand what these people are doing, so we could vote them out of office and take the reins of government in this country. That is what we have to do. That is what we're going to do. We're on an SOS mission. Save our St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is what we're going to do. Ladies and gentlemen, the wickedness that passes for good governance in this country has got to stop. It has got to stop. We have to rise up and make our mark. The young people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have to demand change. They have to make a difference. They have to understand that the future of this country is in their hands. So, MP Bramble, I just want to tell the people that as a team, we work together for the betterment of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We work hard. if you listen to your radio, NDP having this, that, the other, we all over the place like red ants. We, not red ants, yellow ants. We are working hard to put ourselves out there for you to see that we have a propensity for hard work and that we will get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure being here. A real pleasure being here. And the last thing I want to tell you all is that pound for pound, we have the better team. NDP is the better team. Thank you very much and good night.
All right. You better. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the next representative for East St. George. Let me hear you give it up one more time. For Laverne Gibson Velox. I want to tell all you next thing. You see this government here where we have in place now? They have made an art form of making temporary things all over the place. So you had temporary clinics, you had temporary schools, you had temporary this and that. And I'm going to tell you why they just do it. All you know when them kickback? A kickback is when you give a contract to get back some money out of it. And one of the things where they just do, they just intentionally run down the government building on them so that they could go and give a rental to one of their friend and them. So that when their friend and them get the contract to rent the property, they come and they make the rent be at $10,000 and then they give one of them a $2,000 and a $3,000 on the side. And I tell all you must follow the money. Take a minute and look and see how many buildings, government buildings, me not to point them out because all of we just walk the streets in Kingston. I know, DJ, you're competing with me. I know that if you walk down in Kingston right now, we could find at least 5 government buildings that lock up and is not in use, but it have a whole heap of their friends building on them that they're renting. What you call that? Kickback and corruption. And when they do that, what it means is that money cannot reach to buy the medication that is needed. That is why you just go by the hospital and you can't get what you should get. That is why the people who should be getting public assistance is not on it, because the money is not going where it should go. It's going right back into their pockets. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you have sufficient reason to get rid of them in this election. I tell you before, and I'm going to tell you again, this election is not merely about voting out ULP to vote in NDP, you know. This is about voting out the ULP so that you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, could finally benefit and breathe. I'm going to tell all you something what I see on the news tonight before I call the next speaker. When I was coming here, I see a whole news article go out. All you know what happened? They say that all they closed down and they send home the people in fisheries. You know why? Because down there rotting with mold. That is how they just do the government building and they don't upkeep them. They don't maintain them. And then people have to be going to work in these sort of conditions. And this is not the first government place that we hear rotting with mold. Friends, the country falling apart right before our eyes. And that again is sufficient reason for us to get rid of them. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, the next person I'm going to bring to you is a man who's sending them Bazodi. Is good man down. And I'm going to tell them, you see Mr. Wani where they have down there is 1 vote, 1 term and straight into retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Kisha Shallow.
Thank you, DJ. Thanks, Lavon. It's great to be in this village up in East KINGSTOWN tonight at the invitation of my good brother, Fitz. As I arrived earlier, I went by the shop up the road and somebody said, "Welcome home." Welcome home. And indeed, I feel as though I am at home. You know, there's a little village in North Leeward called Coursill. And there's a place specifically called Core Road. I see my brother Black here, he would know about Core Road. And Major Leacock, this reminds me of Core Road. Just sit on the block and have a nice little reasoning. And that is indeed what we need in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Gathering like this, organic gathering where we come and talk about the policies that affect St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I want to say a special good evening to every single one of you here this evening and to all listening online and following the streaming. Greetings to you as well. Now we're going to start by, telling a little tales out of school with the connection between Fitz and myself. Now, Fitz, don't frighten, there's nothing bad. But I want to tell you, when I decided, just before I decided to be a candidate for the New Democratic Party representing North Leeward, Fitz was one of the individuals who I approach and consult with. Because over the years, he has been an individual whose opinion I value deeply. And Fitz's advice was as frank as ever, honest as ever. He said to me, "Kish, listen to me. Politics is hard work." He said, "Politics is hard work. You have to be dedicated. It takes tremendous sacrifice." And he ended up giving me a few examples. But then he said, "Kish, listen to me. If you're truly ready, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the New Democratic Party will surely benefit from your involvement." And the conversations went on, and so I am here with you. So, Brother Fitz, I want to thank you for your wise word of encouragement. The other thing I would tell about the connection with Fitz and I, 2 years ago, as you know, I'm involved in cricket administration across the region. 2 years ago, when I took over the presidency of Cricket West Indies, I was tasked with establishing a team of professionals across the Caribbean. And our financial situation was one that was unstable. And so I decided to put together a very competent team of experts in economics and finance from across the region. And let me tell you that when I reached out to Fitz Bramble and asked him to serve on that committee, the Finance Strategy Committee, he put his hand on the air and he said, "Yes, my brother, I will serve." And let me say, 2 years later, that institution has established in the history of West Indies cricket the best financial position ever. Thank you again, my brother Fitz. So, I want to zoom in this evening on two concerning issues or observations on my part. The first one is, and I listen to the radio as often as I find the time to do so. And believe you me, since last year when I joined this team, I had observations before, but since last year when I joined this team and I observed every single member of the New Democratic Party, not only the candidates, some of them who you see here tonight, but the backroom staff, the executive, it is the hardest working group of professionals I've come across in my entire life. And so, when I listen to the radio and I read on Facebook and social media and I see there's a notion, and I have concluded this, there's a notion, brother Bruce, that the New Democratic Party is not addressing all the issues of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, the truth is, the reality is, and Major Leacock could tell you this later on, the country is in such a quandary, it is in such a state of distress that the issues are flying in fast and furious from left, right, center, that no individual, no party, no institution could keep up with these issues. And that is the reality. You're dealing with one issue here, then another one pop up there, another one pop up, whether it is the quarry in North Leeward, whether it is the roads out on the windward side or the fisheries complex in Oria, or right here in Kingstown. Issues are popping up, and this is a reflection of a failing government. It is a failing government, and if we keep them in place, as Major said, it will be a failing state. The other issue, the other observation I've made that I'm going to share with you this evening is the fact that we have a tired government. We have a tired administration trying to govern this state, this country called St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, when you have a tired government, in fact, when you look at them, it's like a car out of fuel. Right? You know, like an old car revving up, cranking, making noise, but not going anywhere? That is this administration. An old revved up car, not going anywhere in any great pace or any meaningful pace. On the other hand, you have in the New Democratic Party an institution of competent individuals who have clear plans to advance St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So let us zoom in on a couple of those plans. Let's start with tourism. When you observe what is happening in tourism, and we celebrated last year saying it was a great year, of course it was a last year. Lavon, you out there celebrating cricket, you were jumping up and enjoying cricket, not you? We had the World Cup for the first time. We have thousands of people came into the country because of the World Cup. In December, we had another cricket series, Bangladesh. Of course, your numbers going to look good. But when you look at the cruise ship boat, you're seeing one ship per day. When you look across to St. Lucia, when you go to Grenada, Antigua, St. Kitts, you're talking about 3-4 cruise ships per day. So what advancement are we making with tourism? We are moving at snail pace, and I could tell you that the New Democratic Party has plans to develop advanced packets in Vincent and the Grenadines that would have our country flooded with tourism, with tourists spending money and benefiting every single Vincentian. Let's look at the new economy. Let's look at the new economy. Now, I know this is dear to Fitz's heart, because as a sportsman, he cannot understand, and we speak about this all the time, which is why I could speak on his behalf. It is difficult to comprehend how in 2025 we have one main facility of international standard. So much so that we cannot host multiple events at the same time, losing out on millions of dollars as a result. Millions of dollars. Whether it is vendors or other service providers, the taxi men, women, everybody missing out on multiple opportunities because after a government been in place for almost quarter of a century, we have one international standard playing field. That has to change. It has to change because you're talking about our sportsmen and women are missing out on opportunities as our brothers and sisters across St. Lucia and Dominica are getting to advance. We saw the performance at the Olympics. They got gold medal. We saw other countries getting multiple. We saw Jamaica hosting Messi recently, a local football club playing against a team that featured Messi. Now, if we are to embrace sports in this country, the countless talented individuals we have here will have an opportunity. They will have an opportunity to own for themselves, for their family, for their communities like Murray Village. They will be independent. And I believe that is one of the reasons why this government has not been advocating and championing sports. Because sports give you a level of independence. Just as the big Ras said earlier about taking away our farming lands from us. They do not believe in empowering people. They will tell you that on one hand and they undermine it on the other hand. That is the problem we have with this government. So under the New Democratic Party, under Dr. Godwin Friday and his entire team, we are going to show this administration how it is to develop, package, and advance sport for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Right down here, I actually played cricket going to grammar school. This is the field that I played cricket on. I mean, if you go there now, it might as well tie some animals there. So where are the people in East Kingston, Central Kingston, where are they playing the sport? It is absolutely ridiculous. So on one hand, we have a very tired, old government out of ideas. Totally out of ideas. Do not have a clue where to go, what direction we are heading on. But just for the sake of their obsession with power, decided to be there and continue to try to manipulate the people. Whereas you have the New Democratic Party, who has all these brilliant ideas, and you're going to hear more from our speakers later on, including Fitz and Major Leacock. The choice is very clear to me. And I tell you, my friends in Murray Village here this evening, that come the next elections, come the next general elections, that the North Leeward seat is going to join with the KINGSTOWN seats and bring home government for the New Democratic Party. And I urge every one of you to ensure that you are part of that success whenever the man gets brave enough to ring the bell. So my friends, again, it's a pleasure being here with you. Fitz, thanks for the invitation. And I say, continue, my friends, continue. Let us support strong and stay in solidarity and work together in the interest of our country. Thanks again. Good evening, everyone.
Some people can go in the market. I'm a second with the country government, no more shit up. The way the tax rise, we have to all and pull up. You go easy with the country government, no more shit up. The way the tax rise, yo, Jamaica people, I say big low. Government a live low, and big low. The government a live low. The tax can't.
A very sobering and informative presentation from the next Member of Parliament for North Leeward. And I tell all you something, the importance. You hear me saying that East Kingston is the Rock of Gibraltar up here. But we must never forget that the New Democratic Party was started and founded in North Leeward. So I want everybody to be reminded that North Leeward is NDP city too. North Leeward is NDP tongue. North Leeward has always been and will return to being the people in their hearts, has always been on the side of the New Democratic Party. So Dr. Shallow, we anticipate as a matter of fact, I had to ask Pat if she on the live tonight, if I could come and start the celebration down there. if I could celebrate an election night with them down on that side. I want to tell you something before I bring the next speaker. There are some of them that would want us to believe that things in this country can be better because hard times, they're wrong every way. But I'll tell you something and listen to me good. Are you listening? It have plenty storms in this life that many of us have to shelter. And plenty storms that will hit us. But I want you to remember this, that there's some of us who are remaining poor. But the storm is not hitting some of them because they are becoming millionaires. Which means that it is possible for some become millionaires in this country. But your child can't even get a walk. So ask yourself, why we have to be the one that continue to weather the storm, but their children are becoming millionaires. Listen good, and all could pick sense out of nonsense. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker that I want to bring to you is a man. At this rate, I think they shouldn't even bother put a candidate there. Because I get to understand that I went walking about with him in central KINGSTOWN recently. And everywhere I go is major they're saying. Major they're saying. Major they're saying. And I telling you, I get the feeling that whoever they convince and pay to run for them over there, that they might lose their deposit. So might as well then I better send nobody in central. Because one thing I know, if it's 1 seat, we get up pay central. If it's 2 seats, we get up pay central and east. If it's 3 we have, is west, central, and east. Ladies and gentlemen, I find you helping me to introduce Major behind me. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great joy to introduce to you one of the vice presidents of our party, the Honorable Major Sinclair Leacock. Please welcome our Member of Parliament for Central KINGSTOWN.
We should never get to be the way I see this world running shouldn't have to be. Cause now every man's got this filled with hate and overflowing. Father and love, things are going wrong, yeah. It's wickeder than before. The really checks that we could have run things, but it not look so anymore, no. Come down, Father, come down.
Come down, Father. East KINGSTOWN, massive. Brother Fitz, Maurice Village. Tonight, like many nights, is a very special night for your Major, now the elder statesman in the party. Let me say that. So when I hear my colleagues say the party is full of experience and youth, I say like I have to get a middle name, Sinclair Experience Major Leacock. I tell you one thing though, I will bring that experience to bear on the New Democratic Party and Central KINGSTOWN and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And this country will be better for my presence and my contributions to the party's policy, its programs, the development and the upliftment of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Brother Kishore, it's the first time I'm coming on a political platform and I'm speaking after you. I can't guarantee that the batting order will be always this way. But tonight, that's how it is. And it's important to me that that coincidence has taken place tonight because in many respects, what I'm doing or what Kishore is doing have great reflections, great connectivity and commonality. My first degree as an academician is in business management, business administration, which is also the same for Kishore. My second degree, Master's in Business Administration, is also exactly the same as Kishore. And therefore, there's no surprise to me that that political bug eventually caught him. Because that discipline is so wide, so expansive, and so intense that it brings a particular passion to one. to want to go more and do more for one's country or community. And the truth be told, Kishore is Dr. Kishore Shalom. I was also finishing my doctorate, again in business, and 6 months before I was finished, Eustace asked me to come back to St. Vincent to serve as a senator. And I gave up my doctorate to come to the assistance of the New Democratic Party, and I've never gone back. Now, why is that important and how that relates to Kishore speaking here before me tonight, being on the same platform and being in East Kingstown with friend, brother, and colleague Fitz? Fitz and Kishore, when I came to Parliament, it was, as they said, a baptism of fire. Heck is there bad, heck is there wrong. Everything that could be said negatively about a person was said about me coming to lend assistance. And what brought me to that opportunity to serve and to come to Central Kingstown? Born straight to Bonady, Tontail, Toncoat, had been ceremoniously or unceremoniously. Well, years before this song, they got rid of him. And there was that vacancy in the New Democratic Party. And I remember when that took place, they said he would leave a gaping hole. That's what the expression was. He was leave a gaping hole in the New Democratic Party. Well, how that relates to Kingstown? The historical facts are that in 2001, 20-something years ago, when you added Boyer's votes with Sayers' vote, the lead on the New Democratic Party was 825 votes. That's how much they had more than us in 2001. When I ran in 2005, 4 years after, the difference was 14 votes. 14! So Conroy, you could do it in Central Leeward. You can do it, Brother Bruce, and you have been doing it in South Central Windward. And from that time, every single occasion that I went to the polls, I increased my lead and I increased my votes. Again, why is that important? It is important because I am here as the representative of Central Kingstown, supporting Fitz in East Kingstown. And while it is true that from 1984 to 2001, when Eddie Griffith Force brought that seat home for the New Democratic Party, in East Kingstown, they have always been represented by people of stature. Eddie Griffith, Carl L. Dugan, Arnhem Eustace, and now Fitz Bramble from the belly of poor people. And that means he comes here value-laden because of the sacrifice of his parents, the contributions of his family, and his dedication and commitment to hard work and to people. So that, now I call Duggan's name. So that is Fitz in East, myself in Central, and Daniel Cummins, who left, in the West. And between Daniel, Fitz, and myself in the Kingstowns, as the master of ceremonies, perhaps mistress is a better word, said tonight, the Kingstowns are solid as a rock. And I often hear he say, he come in for Kingstown. Well, that ain't the problem, you know. You have the problem, Ralph, is when we coming for you. And right now, we're coming for you. Not even one by one. We're coming through. We're coming one time. Now, something had been wrong with that guy, you know. Very, very wrong. I saw a poster today saying that they have a meeting coming Saturday here in Lodgeville School to choose a candidate for Central Kingstown. Now, before that, a fellow was going wrong. I don't normally advertise them and call the name, but this one is a good name to call. Rock. He was going wrong saying he the candidate, he the candidate. Well, they serve he a cease and desist notice. Cease and desist, stop it. And out goes he. So, on that poster is the picture of Ralph. The two speakers is Slater, Dougie, and Brewster. And no reference whatsoever to who the candidate. Might as well they leave it so. Because he ain't going nowhere in Central Kingstown. But that is to bring home the fact that right on the basis of the selection of candidates for the Kingstown, you see immediately the difference between the two political parties. In the Kingstowns, you have always had representatives of note, of worth, of value, of performance, of character, of ability, and who can deliver. And they have always been something in the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and in the New Democratic Party. Eddie Griffith from East Kingston, Fitz, was a vice president. Parnell Campbell of Central Kingston was a vice president, a deputy prime minister, I'm sorry. John Horn from West Kingston also acted as a deputy prime minister. Carl Dugan was an attorney general. Every representative from the city always had pride of place and importance in the New Democratic Party. All of that stopped and disappeared in a unity Labour Party. Call one name, save and except maybe for Rainer Baptiste, who made sense and who came for the Kingston. He calculatedly destroyed anybody, including Ken Boyle, who tried to raise the head to raise a competition against him. And for that, he has Fitz, Major, and Daniel in his craw until last time. And that's why he can't through. That's why he can't through. But if you ever wanted to make a political decision as to which government should be in office and who should run this country, well, the comments so good these days that I have to say this with some humility. But the Kingstowns alone could solve that. Because they simply can't compete with the quality and capability of the Kingstown representatives. And I see the same thing happening now in Leeward. Leeward is like a Gold Coast. From nature, the goalkeeper, Fitz, as you, the gatekeeper is nature. I'm mixing all up. Central Leeward, if you listen to Conroy this morning, you'd believe he's been in politics for 15 years. Driving through the covers, hooking. You think I know about cricket, eh? Kishore? I was games master at grammar school too, don't forget that. So I know the relationship of grammar school to this community. The Trinninghams, pastors, this was their bedrock. And as a schoolboy, I know what I was like, but I can't deal with that tonight. I want to deal with the fact that throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you have competent and capable candidates. Lavon came here tonight, and she said she's from the East. Well, we don't want to come from the East, you're wise. But she was a bank manager of what we call the penny bank and the co-op bank. So she might be carrying herself in a simple form, but she is one of the women who went through the glass ceiling. One of the very few women at that time who became a manager in a corporate entity in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I know from first-hand experience, she leads from the front. Tremendous leadership. Whether it was when the bank was flooded out, whether it was the millions of people she had to manage, money she had to manage, or all the problems that came across her desk, she passed in flying colors. I know in our audience tonight, in South Central Windward, we have Israel Bruce, who pulled himself up from the bootstrap, from nothing, to today, a big something. One of our most outstanding criminal lawyers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who has made himself. And you have that in South Windward, and you have it all the way up to North Windward in Chevron John. I said that to make the point that this party of yours, the New Democratic Party, and listen to me carefully, every single time we competed in an election from 2001 up to today, we have increased our votes. As I speak to you, we are the political party with the most votes in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We lost over 10,000 in 2001, and we recovered every single vote by 2020 and with Brotter. And when you think of the fact that we did that, but it's also the party that lost the most supporters, who had to go to Canada, who had to go to America, who had to go to BVI, St. Kitts, Antigua, Barbados, Trinidad, to take the belly and make vote. We lost over 5,000 voters, and yet we are the majority of people on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So Ralph, stop frustrating the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is time for you to go. You are now irrelevant to the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it's unpardonable, having had near 25 years, you could be so barefaced to look around and ask and oppress the people to install your son for another 25. What the hell could be wrong with us? Huh? That we don't have self-belief in taking ourselves forward. And I want to say that all of us in the Kingstowns, Fitz, Bramble, and myself, have been consistently representing you at the highest level in the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And thank you. But that has not been a difficult thing for us to do, because we are not grave diggers. We did not come in from the top. We are performing at the top now because we started at the bottom. Fitz has been a household name for years. A goalkeeper, a footballer. He's still playing Masters, same in Nelson back now and then. I don't know. I don't know what he enjoyed me retire from the Masters thing, but to each his own. You know? He's been an outstanding teacher at the grammar school. He's been a diplomat. He has international experience. And he has never lost his humility. And you saw that manifested in the 2020 elections. How? Because he grew the constituency. He got more votes than even the respected and renowned Anna Musa had. And I am very confident that come the next election, he will grow even further. And you see the same for yours truly. I don't have to go and make a case for representation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The older ones, the younger ones, and the not so young know who I am, with all of my imperfections. But they have seen me perform as a grammar school teacher, as a cadet officer, as head of the Chamber of Commerce Employees Federation. And I said this one only because it's going to become relevant in the election that's coming here. When I was president of football, I took our country to the position of 73 in the world. 73! The position that Russia had when it hosted the World Cup. They're going to bring people and argue to you that they can make a football history. But there are 170 something in the world, nearly 100 places. You know Ralph got rid of me? You know how they got rid of me in football? They took a lot of money, gave it to clubs, gave it to a guy Granton Williams, cashed it at the National Lottery, and paid for all of the clubs with bad-mindedness, including the man who wants to come to run against me. He will get a baptism of politics when he enters. And I put them on notice. You don't do stupidness and dishonestness and jumping and running in the church and take up a Bible and pretend you're not what you call. Come forward. Come. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to put you on all you notice. This thing not easy. Enough for that. That is for later. I take no prisoners in politics. And Ralph, if you face on the poster for Central Kingston, finish it. Come down. Run in Central Kingston. You're bright. Your name man, come down here. And I'll tell you another thing. Every time you come into Central Kingston, you, Ralph Gonzalez, I'll walk you in and walk you out. I did it before, and I'll do it again. You will not get away with the hypocrisy, your dishonesty, your lack of integrity that you perpetuated over this country for many years. You see me? At this stage, 10 plus, my best days are behind me. But you see this new Democratic Party? You see this generation unborn? You ain't having it your way, my brother. No, bro. Not this time. Not this time. Because this party of ours, to which I've sacrificed so many years, has a plan. I leave that to the others. Friday can do that better than me. He can talk about his 4 pillars of agriculture and tourism and the new and the blue and the priorities. But I've been there. Done this, done that. But I know the capability of the Central Kingston, East Kingston, West Kingston, and all of the New Democratic Party. We will transform St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the better and for all times. You know, I don't understand the brazenness, the dishonesty. You know, sometimes I get mad. A few years ago, it is infinite wisdom. Arnhem Ulrich Eustace, and I was part of that decision, said we will make the Garifuna honorary citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There are some over 800,000 of them. In one stroke, if we gave them citizenship, our population moves from 100,000 to 1 million people. You understand that, Kishore? You know what it is? To have an economy of 1 million people, even if 10% of them came home in a year, or 1%, or 5%, or any percentage, just look at what will happen to the banking system. Are the people who will be benefiting St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This economy of ours, will be bristling. And that is fundamental, because in the city, we have to find jobs and opportunities for every one of you. It's not about us. It's about the privilege you give us to serve. Sometimes when I'm coming out of my own constituency on mornings, and I watch the young men walk the woman to the van, those who could get a little job, and they go back home to spend the day in nothingness. Because nothing for them to do. We're putting an end to that. I know we're going to have some fight inside of the party. But I said the party adopted it and we'll do it. We will put down a $50 million processing plant in this country to process all agricultural products. So that when you are in Murray Village or in Sign Hill or in Richmond Hill and in the morning, your young lady get up and say, boy, time to wake up. I have to go up and walk in the packaging department, the labeling department, the peeling department. There's work for them to do. And when people have work and they're busy and they're developing themselves, they have no time for gun and stupidness and for murder and for crime and to be wasting their time. You understand that? In this constituency, where it fits, you are automatically better off. I simply can't imagine that a political party is saying to you, and follow me, all of you here, our constitution has a fundamental mistake in it. The constitution says you should have 15 candidates. Huh? If you should have 15 candidates, well, it was 13 when the Constitution was formed, and we added on another 2. But if you should have representatives, then the representatives must have means to do what the people voted them to do. And we said as a cardinal policy in the New Democratic Party, every representative will have something called constituency development funds to develop his or her constituency. The Unity Labour Party opposed that. I could not believe that big men and women who want to come to you like Nicodemus in the night, why don't I see you? But them in past and the dog by the back. You never hear this, you never hear that, lie like hell. Because they can't face you. Every one of them in the Unity Labour Party voted against having that independence. You know what they want to do? Go upstairs the complex to Master. Could you please give me this? Could you please give me that? And he have enough money to send people for hairdo, some for go see cadooment, some for do all kind of fat. And he won. He won, as my mother used to say, must fill up the whole house. Huh? He won. Must have latrine in St. Vincent. No. With horse reach, donkey can reach. How can you be so heartless, Ralph? And I say it like how the dogs just call it, Ralph. That's how the dogs just call their name. Huh? To watch teachers upon whose shoulders you stand. Policemen on whose shoulders you stand. Doctors upon whose shoulders you stand. Sanitation workers upon whom you can stand. Send them home to lose their home. Man to lose their wife. Wife to lose their children. Daughters here, Sunday, people they're scattering. Can't have a decent living in their own St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And you will appeal the course who tell you you're going down the wrong road. You're heartless. You're wicked. And you should never see an election in St. Vincent and the Grenadines after this one. This election and the importance of it. And Bruce, I'm wrapping up. Thank you, Madam Master Ceremonies. Is about an audit. That's what this one is about, you know. So when I hear he there yesterday, Sunday, instead of in church, going through Glen, campaigning for his son, that's where he reached. That's where he reached. This election is about an audit. You know what's an audit? We want to see the books. We want to see how you've been spending the people's money and why you're hiding. Because we know for a fact, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it. Had you lost the election, you would have been before the courts already for misbehavior in public office. Because you spent over $100 million in this country without the lawful authority of the parliament. You want me to say it slowly for you again? You have spent money without the lawful authority of the parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And if you think it's done there, the current Auditor Generals show us repeatedly where you have been spending without parliament's authority. You have been a lawbreaker as a prime minister. And you must demit office and face the people for judgment. And the corruption that's in your government. So the desperation of the Unity Labour Party at this time, make no bones about it, is saving the skin. But that's all the reason why the New Democratic Party must win. Good night, thank you, and God bless you.
Get rid of them. 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 For 14 years they boast and brag, but all they give me was big in a bag. What they can do and how they are the best. Mash up we country, now have we in a mess. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Oh gosh, we just getting started, you know. And imagine when the bell ring. If you know you're ready to see an NDP government, let me hear you. Let me see if all you could help me tonight because I can't sing. It have a song where it say, NDP, oi, 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 oi. NDP, aye. Let me get it one more time before I bring the next speaker. Oh gosh, only they say you must come help me. They say you must come help me and you have to come. All they want to hear my MP sing? All they want to hear my NDP? All right, let we go.
Yeah, this is how we're going to do it. NDP, oi. You said the pace, NDP, aye. You said the pace, NDP, oi. Hey, you said the pace, NDP. Come on, man, you have to help me sing. Let me go again. NDP, oi. You said the pace, NDP, aye. You said the pace.
That is what you call the intermission entertainment. Watch. I only give all a little taste of what my MP does. If all they want to come back, all they have to tell me in advance because I notice all they love the free entertainment up in East Kingston. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker I'm going to bring to you. I'm going to tell all you something. You see if all you in return him to Parliament. You see if all you put him back there, crap and smoke all you. As a matter of fact, crap on even going to have no pipe for all your smoke because all you going to be in deep. I wouldn't say it. All you make sure that all you return this man as your MP in the next election ahead. They don't know whether or not they want to use the man with us play pan. They don't know whether they want to bring the man with us roll up on a hip hand's foot. They don't know. But one thing I know for sure, don't matter who they bring, they could bring. If I follow you, I get in trouble tonight. And in the absence of my president, I have to be well behaved. Right? I have to be. If I follow you, I get in trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming your boy. This is the Honorable Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, your Member of Parliament for East Kingston.
Get rid of them. 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 For 14 years they boast and brag, but all they give me was big in a bag. What they can do and how they are the best. Mash up we country, now have we in a mess. So what we do? Get rid of them.
All right. Maurice Village, my home. Good night. You know, there are very few places, very few places, and very few occasions when I get a little nervous when I'm going to speak. Because I love talk. And Maurice Village is one of those places. I get a little nervous. You know why? Because you guys hold me to the highest standard. You hold me to the highest standard. And that is my guiding post. That's why I try so hard to make sure that I make all of you happy. Let me say first of all, good night, Maurice Village. All right. I want to shout out a few persons, and I'm not going to get in trouble, but that is all right. Trouble been following me all my life. I want to give a few shout out to a few persons who are not able to be here, but I know they're hearing us, and they're hearing me. So first of all, I want to shout out Sister Gould up the hill. Sister Gould, I know you're hearing me loud and clear. Good night, sweetheart, love you. Sister Haywood down behind me. And Mr. Haywood, good night. Ginger, well, I don't go and shout up Ginger. And I see me good sister, everything right in front of me, they Miss Smith. Who else am I missing? Kope. I know Kope and them up there hearing me too, but good night to everybody. Now listen, I am going straight to the point because I am home and I have to give account
to you about the job that I have been doing and the job that I intend to continue to do on your behalf. So I am going straight to the point. The last time I came and spoke at a public meeting in Murray's Village, almost 5 years ago, I asked the question, and the question was this: what has the ULP government done for Murray's Village? That is the question I asked. And back then, the answer was nothing. And tonight, the answer is even more resounding. Nothing. Murray's Village has been neglected under the Unity Labour Party administration for years. I have been serving you for almost 5 years. And I am telling you, today, before I came here, I was lying on my bed, just meditating a little bit, trying to mentally prepare for the meeting. And I dug so deep to try to find even one thing to say, well, okay, at least they make an effort to do something in Murray's Village. Not one single thing I could have found. And I am not just telling you this to get your vote. You guys live here. You feel it. You smell it. You see it. The neglect of this government to this community is hitting all of us right in our faces. And that is why you, the people of Murray's Village, you have to continue to lead the charge in making sure that we change this government and install a new Democratic Party government that is going to make sure that your lives get better the very night the election results are called, as Major would say. We have to make sure that we make that change. Look, in this community and in East Kingston, there are several issues which are germane and which really and truly impact this community. I mean, they're pervasive all over the country. But in Murray's Village in particular, let's start first of all with infrastructure. Let's start with the infrastructure. Just look at the roads right here, right now, where we are standing and sitting for this public meeting tonight. Just look at the roads in front of us. Look at the roads from Murray's Village all the way over to Rockies into Sand Hill. 2 years in succession. 2 years in succession. I wrote a letter to the Minister of Finance, Honorable Camilo Gonzalez, because, as you know, in the budget process, the opposition is not involved in the discussions. Can you imagine? As Major said, we have been elected to represent our constituencies. Me in East Kingston, Major in Central, and so on and so forth. And you're coming and asking the people of this country to allow you to spend. This year the budget is $1.8 billion. 1.8 billion with a B. You're asking the people of this country to allow you to spend $1.8 billion of their money, and you're not involving their representatives in the decision-making process. How preposterous can we be? How insulting, how exclusive, because their mantra, the behavior of the Unity Labour Party administration, is that they must only include who support them. And even that is a stretch. Because now, as you hear the election tempo ramping up, you're hearing people coming and saying, boy, Bramble, I support Labour all my life, but not this time. Not this time. Time for the go. Time for a change. That is the road march you're hearing. But let me get back on message. The infrastructure in this community is deplorable, to say the least. And as I was telling you, I wrote on 2 occasions to the Minister of Finance asking him for certain things in East Kingston. I asked him for a bus stop in Murray Village and one in Rockies. I asked him to consider covering the drain down Roseau, because when it's rush hour traffic and the traffic gets busy, people could at least have somewhere to walk and get out the road. I asked him to fix up the Rockies Community Center and equip it. I asked him about the roads in East Kingston. 2 years! And he did not even have the decency to respond to me in any substantive way. This year, you know what he said to me? he replied to my email and he said he acknowledged receipt of my email, blah, blah, blah. And he said to me he would have to speak with the engineers. What conversation do you need to have with an engineer to tell him, go up Murray's Village, the roads are deplorable, fix them? What kind of engineer you need again? All the engineers need is the permission and the authority to go and do the job. And they have failed this community on every single occasion. I even gave him an opportunity. I wrote him a letter and asked him, look at the bus stop in Murray Village. Look, it's right there, right here. We could see it. We shouldn't even be calling that a bus stop. Look at it. Hey, Gary, good night. So, our infrastructure is extremely important. And the New Democratic Party, with yours truly as your representative and your member of government, will make sure that the infrastructure in Murray's Village and in East Kingstown are brought up to livable and decent standards so you can enjoy your community. That is one. And when we talk about infrastructure, by the way, if you notice the landscape and the layout of East Kingstown generally, but Murray's Village also in particular, a lot of the houses are, I don't want to use too much of big words. I was going to say precariously placed. But it simply means a lot of the houses, they're in some kind of position. If you're not careful, they might go fall down. And a lot of that is because of weak back walls, poor drainage, water running under people's foundation, and all these kinds of things. We, in a New Democratic Party government, will fix that and make sure that you have the opportunity to enjoy your community and enjoy your neighborhoods as decent citizens of this country. That is one thing we're going to do. Another thing that this community is known for, Major touched on it, and Kish, Dr. Shallow also touched on it a little, more than a little bit actually, is in the area of sports. Let me tell you something. Had it not been for football, I would not be here, well, of course, after God and so on. I would not be here tonight talking to you. Because football afforded me the opportunity to go to university and better myself. I represented St. Vincent and all of that. We know the story. But this community of Murray Village was very instrumental in my success as a footballer, starting from Fred Trimmingham, who coached me. And I played with numerous guys up here. I even played with Sheffield one time until Josie threw me out. But Josie and Marlon, and we can call all of the other national footballers and outstanding footballers from this area. We also produce national cricketers, Curtis Shaw of living memory, Fred Trimmingham of living memory, who played football and cricket for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We produced top-class cyclists. Depta Kolzak at one time was the top cyclist in this country and one of the top footballers as well. And now Depta is coming back to serve this community, to organize the young men into a football club. And they're doing very well on the field of play. But they need support off the field of play. And Fitz Bramble, as your representative, will make sure that the young men and young women of Murray's Village are given the opportunities to fulfill their potential in the area of sports. We are going to make sure that in Murray's Village, we provide sporting facilities that will give you the opportunity to ply your trade. A hard court and an attendant multi-purpose center of sorts is definitely coming to Murray's Village. I have had discussions with persons from the community, and we have even already earmarked an area. But the discussions will continue. The concept and the idea is to provide a lighted hard court so that all of the young people and not so young people can enjoy. Because we want to make sure we put a little exercise area with the monkey bars and stuff where you can go and exercise. And we want to put a nice little community center where you can have community activities, skills training for the young people and so on. This is not just tongue-in-cheek. I'm not just telling you this because I want your vote. I am not in politics to get your vote. I am in politics to help you to improve your standard of living and to improve your lives. And of course, in order for me to be able to do that, your vote will have to determine it. But your vote is not the primary objective. The primary objective is to bring a better standard of living to all of you. And in order to do that, you have to go out and vote. And I am kindly and humbly asking you for your vote once again when the election is called. So, sports. Look, between Fitzhugh and Kingston, almost half of the southern coast, there's one lighted playing field, and that is the Victoria Park. Can you believe that? I did my research. We have about 62 playing fields in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. About 62 of different standards and levels. And out of the 62, only 5 of them are lighted. 5 of them are lighted. And out of the 5, 3 of them are in the constituencies of the Prime Minister and his son. Now, I am not saying that those communities, they don't deserve lighted playing fields. That's not what I'm saying. But let me put things in context. So we have Victoria Park. We have the Annisvale playing field. That's 2. We have Calico playing field. That is in East St. George. We have the Brighton playing field. That is in East St. George. And we have the South Rivers playing field. That is in North Central. 5 playing fields in a country which has enjoyed the success of our young, talented sports people for years. In 2025, you only have 5 lighted playing fields. I have made requests at different levels and in different forms to upgrade the grammar school playing field, the Richmond Hill playing field. Major talked about it, and I think Kish talked about it. When I played football down at the grammar school playing field as a schoolboy, the condition of grammar school playing field now is how it was when I was playing as a schoolboy. I kid you not. You know that. Those of you who are old enough would know that. A new Democratic Party government with Fitzbramble as part of the cabinet will make sure that we not only upgrade the Richmond Hill playing field, but we will light it. The Richmond Hill playing field is the most widely used playing field in the country. It is the most. You have about 5 schools down there. You have C.W. Prescott, you have prep school, you have grammar school, you have high school, you have Thomas Sanders. 5 schools. And then some other schools come down, like Intermediate High School, which is right next door to me at Mackey's Hill. They come down and they use it. And look at the condition of the field. Utterly unacceptable. We are going to change that. So young people of this country and young people of Murray's Village, rest assured that we will provide all that you need so that your wings you can fly like an eagle in realizing your potential as sports people. And the New Democratic Party, we launched about a year ago something called the National Athletes Program, where we are going to make sure that when the outstanding athlete from Murray's Village make it to the Olympics, they don't have to come on TV and beg for sponsorship. We will make sure that not only do you get the opportunity to represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the Olympics, but we will implement programs and policies to make sure that we identify that talent from a very young age, and we will nurture that talent so that you can reach to the highest level and be proud representatives of Murray's Village, of East Kingston, and of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is what we will do. Let me move on because I don't want to be too long. But there are 2 young ladies in the audience, and they came tonight and they said to me, Bramble, we ain't make up with mine yet. So we come here tonight for you to convince us. So leave me, let me do my convincing. Let's move on to healthcare real quickly. The Sion Hill Clinic, and I'm not going to be too long on this because it is so it is so heartbreaking. I remember in 2020, just before the elections, they hurriedly renovated the Sion Hill Clinic because my opponent at the time was the Minister of Health. So they wanted something for he come on stage and brag off. All you vote for me. You see what he did as the Minister of Health? I fixed up the Sion Hill Clinic. That was the intention. But of course, just like everything else, if your intentions and your motives are nefarious and bad and are ill-intended, it could never work. But just last week, I was informed, reliably informed, by more than one person who visit the Sion Hill Clinic. A lady said to me, Bramble, I went to the Sion Hill Clinic, and when I was leaving, they told me on my next visit, I must bring at least one roll of toilet paper and donate it in the box outside. Can you believe this? An old, elderly lady who's having health challenges, you're telling her when she comes back to the clinic next time, bring a roll of toilet paper and put it in the box to donate to the clinic because the clinic doesn't have toilet paper. The same lady told me, she said, Bramble, they don't even have stool cups. When you have to give samples of your stool, you have to put it in a special cup. She said next time she going back, she have to walk with her own cup. Jesus, I mean, like, seriously, politics is politics. And we will always, campaign time and we're going to do we thing. But seriously, can you imagine if you, sitting here tonight, you go to the Sion Hill Clinic and they tell you, you have to bring your own stool cup. And this was an elderly lady with health challenges. Come on. Where is the compassion? You can't play politics with these things. Medication, you can't get it in the Sion Hill Clinic. But yet, they come in and building an acute referral hospital for how much hundreds of millions right next door out Annisville. And I am saying to you, the people of Murray Village, the people of East Kingston, Ifanato including you, when the New Democratic Party forms government, we will make sure that you could go to the Sion Hill Clinic and you don't have to walk with your own stool cup and you don't have to carry toilet paper. Because we will make sure that we provide proper health care for everybody. That is what we will do. Let me just quickly touch on the issue of community development. Because I am of the view that St. Vincent and the Grenadines could be in a much better position if we decentralize our governing system. And what do I mean by that? Everything that you need, just about, you have to run in tongue and go to a minister and ask him for it. Whether you need it for you as an individual, for your family, or for your community. And in my view, we could be much more efficient and much more successful if we empower the people in the communities. So we have to bring back local government. We have to bring back community development, where every community will have the opportunity to choose the people to conduct the business of their community. Murray's Village included. So you don't have to go down to whoever in whatever ministry and beg them. We will conduct our own. Of course, there will be major things that central government will have to do. But one thing is for certain, when we institute the Constituency Development Fund, where every constituency will have its own resources, when school open in September, you know, for one come down by Bramble and say, Bramble, I need $40 for help buy books. And Bramble say, oh God, boy, I can't help you with 40, I might could give you 20. That will be a thing of the past. Because your representative, yours truly, in Murray's Village and in East Kingston, will have access to resources, your tax dollars, so that you can take care of yourselves and take care of your community. Look, tonight I want to thank, I'm wrapping up now. There's a lot more that I want to say, but I will save some for next time. But before I wrap up, I want to just quickly talk about the whole issue of business and entrepreneurship and small business development. In East Kingston, back in the day, East Kingston boasted of some of the best small business people and some of the best the best carpenters, plumbers, masons, electricians, you name it. East Kingston, Murray's Village, Sand Hill, Rockies, you could come and close your eye and pick one. And we also have been very successful in terms of small business. People of Murray's Village, you know better than I do, or just as well as I do. Because even though I don't live here, I live here. In Murray's Village, how many businesses do you have existing in Murray's Village right now? Up in this area right here at least. We are Hazeland Shop. We are Preacher Man down there. We are Ash there. Where else? Is there any other business? Well, pick on them, just do the little thing on evening time with the ice box. That's it. That is it. Which other business we have here so people could help themselves? The government came 5 years ago. I was still in Canada, and I remember when they brought this issue to Parliament about the Prime Grant. And I remember all of them jump up. Come in, give me 2 more minutes, Lavon, 2 more minutes. All of them jump up. Oh, prime time, prime time. And they created a facility where they would provide money for young people to start their business. All these fellas on the block up here, you think them man they want to have their own business too? You think them fellas they want to have their own business? Some of these guys have been trying with farming, with livestock rearing, and not one single support. I will tell you this, full disclosure. Some time ago, Bip asked me for some feed. Those of you who don't live here, don't worry. Bip is a local young man in the community. And I went down to the Ministry of Agriculture on more than one occasion, asking them for feed for the animals, for the young man. And this is more than 2.5, 3 years ago. And all I keep getting, oh, come back, call me back next week. Almost 3 years. 3 years. But you're coming and bragging and talking about your prime grant and prime money to help young people. A new Democratic Party government with Fitz Bramble as your representative will make sure not only are we going to improve and expand that prime program, but we are also going to provide other opportunities so that you can develop yourselves as young people. And finally, I want to say this. You see this team that we have here? We had Major talking tonight. We had Oliver. We had Sister Velox. We had Kish, Dr. Shallow. We had Cummins, that's 5. Any other candidates are missing? Okay, you have me, that's 6. And we had the Vopa coming after. Bruce told me, Bruce said, hey now, they put me for close the earnings, it's Vopa, you got Vopa now. So when Bruce come up, brace yourself. That's 6 of us. 6 of us of an outstanding team. And I have heard very objective people say that this is the most outstanding team of candidates ever compiled in the history of St. Vincent politics. That is what seems to be becoming the prevailing impression. Well, I am proud, very proud and honored to be a part of this NDP team because look at what's happening around the world right now. Look at what's happening in the United States. Almost every Monday morning, President Trump is coming up with something new. And he's putting tremendous pressure on small developing countries such as St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tremendous pressure. And it's one thing for us to come and say, well, oh, you know, we are a sovereign state and Donald Trump can't tell us what to do. And then there's reality. So you need a team of individuals in government who can hold a steady rein when it comes to our international relations. We have a fellow here who they call the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And I don't want to rubbish him, but Marco Rubio, a very outstanding public service in the United States, he is the Secretary of State for Donald Trump. He is like America's foreign minister. Can you see anybody in the Unity Labour Party administration right now who could go and sit down with Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State from the United States, and tell him anything convincing in the interest of the people at St. Vincent and the Grenadines? None. None. Not even the Prime Minister. Because all he go in there and say, oh, I am the world boss. My back broad. I'm a hard man for dead. Is that going to be convincing enough to the Americans or to anybody else? In our team, we could close our eyes and select any of the 15 of us, and I say this with all seriousness, any of the 15 of us to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs and go out there and represent St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the interest of the people of this country. That is the kind of team we have. And that is why we are asking you, Maurice Village, tonight. We are asking you, when that time comes, or before that time comes, make up your minds to go and vote. Don't get vexed with Bramble because you mightn't see him in a week or 2 weeks. Don't get vexed with Bramble if you ask him for help you with a $40 and he could only give you 20, I can't give you nothing at all. Help Bramble to be able to help you. And the way you do that is by going out on election day and voting solidly as you did the last time around for yours truly. I am asking kindly for that opportunity. You know, somebody met me, I don't know, somebody met me early this week, no, last week, when I posted the meeting, and they said, Bramble, boy, how you campaigning so early, you don't need for campaign. And you know what my response to him was? My response to him was, I love the people of my constituency so much, I am not going to take any chances and miss out on the opportunity to represent them in government. So that is why I continue to work. And sometimes when you don't see me, it's not because I stay home sleeping or watching TV. I walk in. I walk in. So once you continue to give me the love and the support that you have been giving me, believe you me, I will continue to work until we get in government to make your lives better. Maurice Village, I want to thank you for coming out tonight in your numbers. You guys know I love you. I don't have to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I love you, and I will be there for you until God determines otherwise. Thank you, good night, and God bless.
I tell all you already, Maurice Village, if you do not return this man as your MP in this upcoming election, crapo, smoke all your pipe, because you do not have somebody like Fitz Bramble and you fumble him. You know that we have a thing, the young people and them, they say, man, you fumble the bag. It means you throw away the opportunity. You have in Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, a diplomat, a sportsman, an economist, a rootsman. This is somebody that you cannot afford to fumble. At this time, we're going to bring my favorite. You see? It's not only my favorite, all our favorite male senator. Check. As I say, my favorite and a young lady over there tell me it's all our we favorite. So we sharing. That is no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you the man who will be bringing home the seat for us in South Central Windward, the Honorable Senator Israel Bruce.
We cannot be doing the same thing day after day and expecting a different outcome. I believe Army, yellow Army. For years we not see them. Run them. No job for the youths them. Run them. We don't have no vote for them. Run them.
Low. Low. Thank you. Thank you, DJ. Vice President of the New Democratic Party of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Major Sinclair Leacock, my colleague in Parliament, MP Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, my colleagues who are preparing to rescue St. Vincent and the Grenadines in Sister Lavon Gibson Velox, Brother Dr. Kishore Shallow, and others. Ladies and gentlemen, to the people of Murray's Village, good night. All right, you can't say I'm your favorite and give me that dead good night. To the people of Murray's Village, good night. Now let me clear something early. When you manage people, they have to learn how to respond. And Fitz Bramble, as a national footballer, was managed by me as part of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines national football team. So let me clear this point for Fitz. Fitz, where you there? When you are an established opening bowler for the team, quite naturally, you bat late in the order. It doesn't make you a whooper. It places you in your correct position in the batting order. But in the bowling order, Kishore will tell you, you are the opening bowler. So let me clear that. You're watching at night for sure. My friends, Saturday night, I was in Hadley's village in my constituency. Tonight, I am in Murray's village in East Kingstown. As we set out to set and put before the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines the plans of the New Democratic Party of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I want to say this too. Saturday night in South Central, the last speaker was the president of the party. And the person who spoke just before him was the vice president of the party. I don't want nobody to take the ideas from me speaking last, you know. I just telling you what happened in South Central. I want to say to Murray's Village that I spent the last 24 hours, close to 48, trying to cure this voice to make sure I address you tonight. Yesterday, St. Vincent and the Grenadines wrapped up the Chateau Bilateral Chess Classic between St. Vincent and Grenada, and St. Vincent came out victorious, defeating Grenada in youth chess. So give it up for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As president of the Chess Federation, I refused to speak at the closing. I asked my vice president to speak because I wanted to secure my voice at least for tonight. Those are the preliminaries. My friends, make no bones about it that comparatively speaking, that the New Democratic Party of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, your government in waiting, is far more prepared, far more conscientious, far more programmatic, far more systemic, far more systematic, far more organized, and far more committed to the cause of the people of Murray's Village and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I will address that in a few more minutes as I speak to what we present the people. I know that in this East Kingston constituency, bordering Central Kingston, that a number of fisher folks who seek to make their living of the fishing industry are battered and bruised, not by the waves of the Atlantic Ocean, but by the arrogance, the dishonesty, and the lack of compassion by this Unity Labour Party government. But I have news for you, East Kingston. I have news for you, Central Kingston, farmers and fisher folks, that in the new Democratic Party of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we have established as one of our 4 priority areas for economic revival and survival of this country, agriculture as a critical pillar. We have also established the blue economy as a critical pillar. That encompasses both the farmers and the fisher folks. And we are not accidental by it. It is not, my friends, us putting words on papers or on canvas because we can. We have done so from a deep philosophical position. Because we, in the New Democratic Party, under the leadership of Dr. Friday and Sinclair Leacock and others, we understand that agriculture and fisheries under the rubric of the blue economy is critical for the advancement of economic growth in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And so we are committed to that cause. So that the young man, Fitzbramble, that you spoke about wanting some help, let's put those things together. You know, just before the 2020 elections, I advanced in clear-eyed way the need for skill development and youth entrepreneurship as a means of giving survival to young people in this country. Nobody should question my motive as someone speaking on the behalf of young people. As a student attending the Adelphi Secondary School, I got involved in National Student Council and the National Youth Council of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and later became Vice President of the Caribbean Federation of Youth with responsibility for the international portfolio. So when you hear NDP say that we bring to you a group of people pregnant with experience and ready to work, we are not making bones about it. But let me pivot back to the point. I advanced consecutively, and my colleagues, the need for youth entrepreneurship. But the idea was born within a concept, and that concept was the Grameen banking model that requires the establishment of a development bank for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Let me take a few minutes to take you through that piece. The Grameen banking concept presupposed that young investors will not readily make profit on their investment. So they provided small seed funds for young people, for small businesses, for that investment portfolio, and you give them some time for the business to begin to grow before you demand that they start making back a little payments on the loan. It is not premised on the regular commercial banking concept because shareholders want to see dividends as early as possible. In the nation's parliament, I ask a question of the Honorable Minister of Finance. Will your government give consideration to the capitalization of a national development bank. My friends, a national development bank provides the seed funding, but like the Grameen banking concept, it doesn't race towards having you making repayments. This government, this dirty, this wicked, this nasty, this unloving government said loudly, boldly, capitalize and italicize, they said no, they will not do it. But when they said they will not put money in a development bank for the young people of Maurice Village, they agreed to put millions in the Hilton Suites out at Diamond. They agree to put millions in the hotel down at Peter's Hope. But the young black men of Maurice Village, they said no to you. They will not capitalize a development bank, so your small business, your farm cannot take off. The government that we have, as my friend from Central Leeward said, they represent the status of economic assassins. Conroy, I hope you're listening to me. They said no, they're not financing that. What they did was that they misunderstood the concept that I was selling to them or to the nation. You know what they did? They ran and they formulate something. You know they love acronyms and they call it PRIME. That on the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a prime failure. I ask you and I ask them to tell this country how many businesses received prime grants and are surviving in St. Vincent and the Grenadines today. I know people who got $30,000 and $40,000 on the prime. You know where the money went? To pay St. Vincent Brewery Limited what they owe them. Not a business, not a young person getting a job, because this government does not care about the young people of this country. Central Kingston, East Kingston, hotbeds for criminal activities. Not because East Kingston people love crime, not because Central Kingston people love crime, but because they failed to understand when we said that we need to invest the taxpayers' money in the social and spiritual redemption charter for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They didn't want to accept it. So now the chickens are coming home to roost because they failed to invest in this country where they should have invested. So crime is out of control on this government. The government that said that they would be tough on crime and the causes of crime, crime is now tough on that government. Last Parliament, I asked the question of the establishment of an abattoir for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My friends, an abattoir is a place where you take your animals to be slaughtered and your cuts are to international standards so that you can get the best prices for your cuts. So I ask, has any organization, government or any entity made monies available for the establishment of an abattoir? The Minister of Agriculture tells me, how far back you talking about? A year ago? 5 years ago? 10 years ago? How far back? So he made a boo-boo of himself in the Parliament. And right after asking me that, he submitted to me a report of 2016 that said that an abattoir would have been a successful venture for St. Vincent after a period of 5 years. But instead, he is glorified to go to the Kingston cruise terminal and watch live animals shipped across to Grenada. Because they don't want to make the investment on the behalf of the farmers and fisher folks of this country. I still have one edge up close to me now, so I know she's telling me that my time up too. But you see, my friends, I agree that this constituency, being an outstanding sporting constituency, has not received 1/4 of the support it deserves from this government. And for that reason, you must go to the polls and vote resoundingly again for Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble. As a former goalkeeper, Fitz knows what it means to save your team from disaster. Because football principal goal is not what happens in the midfield. It's not what happens up forward, nor in the defense. It's the extent to which you can save goals from being scored because your team loses. Fitz is committed to making sure that you, the people of Murray's Village, East Kingston, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that the ULP does not score any goal on us. So you must go to the polls unreservedly, without hesitation, with all the ambition in your heart, and mark your X with a vengeance against the name Fitz Bramble, Dwight Fitzgerald Bramble, and against the symbol of the key. And vote a new Democratic Party into government for the survival, for the re-emergence, for positive economic growth, for agriculture, for tourism, for the blue economy and the new economy, where all of us will survive in this country. Go to the polls and vote, my friends, the new Democratic Party. Whether in East St. George, Sister Velox, or in North Leeward, Brother Kishore, East Kingston, Brother Bramble, or Central Kingston. All over this country from North Windward down, vote for the new Democratic Party, those of you who are listening to me. But East Kingston, you must start the charge. Start the charge. And again, elect Fitzbramble to office because he is committed to the cause. You know, I am not a VOPA, but I am a frontline batsman. Good night. I love you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Brother Bruce. I want to do something very quick before we close off the meeting. Brother Bramble, Sister Velox, Dr. Shallow, Bruce, I see Major is still here. I just want to point out something. I'll come join me real fast. And I want to demonstrate something to those of you who are here and those who are on the live stream. Real fast. Now, give me a second. I want to demonstrate to you guys listening. Watch and listen closely, and I'll pick sense out. And this is the face of some of the next members of government who will be on the rescue mission to make St. Vincent and the Grenadines better for you. And I'm going to show you something. You see Major over here? In case nobody never tell all in these terms. Major is a businessman. When Major is making a month in his business, government money as an MP can't pay he that. So he don't need to go there to make money and kickbacks. You see this man here? Senator Israel Bruce. Israel Bruce is one of the most successful lawyers you'll find in this country. The money where he go and get as an MP, where he does make now in a company, which means he don't need to go there to rape the country to get a kickback. You see this woman here? The first woman who ever went all the way to the top of banking. She retired now, but she could have been doing several other consultancies. She have a pension now, and the money she making and she has successful children too. What she will make as an MP is nothing compared to if she continued on and been doing consultants, so she don't need to go in there for a kickback. You understand? You see this money? I don't want to tell all how much he does make. I know how much money this man does make. In fact, he was responsible for the digitization of the Barbados healthcare sector records. I get it right? And in addition to that, this man, as you know, is at the head of our West Indies. So the money he making is nothing compared to what he will receive as an MP. And you see this money? This man was lecturing overseas at a university. He been earning Canadian dollars. And he get that up and he come a lecturer in economics. He could have been at the ECCB. He could have been at one of those places. So the money where he making in Parliament as an MP is nothing compared. And I say this to say this. Some of them where you have them government, I ever see them work anywhere else before? I ever see them work anywhere else before? And I'm going to tell all of this. This is not people who need to go there to thief money from you, but people who are capable of earning money on their own, so they will not be thieving the money. That should be creating jobs for the young people of this country. And so when you wonder why the money is not trickling down to you, it is because you have thieves in office and you do not have well-established, capable and competent people like these esteemed people up here governing this country. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, this is not an election about simply voting out the ULP and putting in the NDP. This is an election about voting out the ULP so that we could have people in there who do not need to be thieving from you, people who do not need to be taken from the public purse, but rather you vote them out, because now is the time that you, the ordinary citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, benefit from the resources of our country. Thank you so much for tuning in to our meeting this evening, and stay tuned for the other village meetings that we will be having.